Hello and welcome to the America F1 series. Tom Cairns, your commentator for today. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are watching all around the world. This is the 7th round of the championship. Just 4 rounds to go in this series, and there are 4 drivers in genuine contention for the title. They are Ben McEwen, Radicon, Switchback 37, and Gamer James 06. So just a quick rundown. This is going to be the short qualifying session, so it's an 18-minute session that will determine the grid for this particular event. There are 17 drivers in the running in this one. There may be a few more coming in by the time the race does begin. Even so, qualifying is about to get underway here. Waiting to see some cars about to go out onto the racetrack. So whilst we're waiting, just do a quick rundown of the championship. So Ben McEwen is the championship leader on 96 points, 7 clear of Radicon on 89 in second, and it's Gamer James in third on 83. And Switchback 37 in fourth with 71. And Stoke Bloke in 5th on 47, he's 49 points off the top. There's a maximum of 104 points left on the table for this season. So mathematically, any driver competing in this league could win the title. So just a few changes to the grid for this one. You've got PR G Jackson filling in the second racing point alongside Quasinada 67. We've got also Akrefa Muga in place of My Name is Guy. And one last one that is Sali 30 in the Mercedes in place of Gomez Indu. So that's all you need to know in terms of the drivers for this particular round. Could we get a new race winner? We've had just the 4 so far out of a possible 6. Could Stoke Bloke all of a sudden become a race winner in this championship? Now, with it being such a long circuit here in Singapore, drivers will need to not only be quick on their flying lap, but also on the in-lap and out-lap in order to make the switch over in terms of the sets of tyres they've got. So they don't want to be invalidating lap times, as that could cost them later in the session. Now, Pure G Jackson, has returned after missing the last 5 rounds. He did compete in the Bahrain race, finished 3rd that time. Can he achieve a good result here in Singapore? So begins his flying lap now. So round turn 4, DRS wide open. Into the braking zone of turn 6. Nice rotation there. Uses a bit of curb on the outside. Good line into turn 7. And this is the tricky part, turn 8. Important to pick your point steer. So riding on board here with Pure G Jackson, and we'll stay on board with him through this extravagant part of the racetrack, past the Anderson Bridge, onto the second back straight. I've seen accidents at that particular part of the racetrack over the years in Formula 1. I'm sad to see Singapore not hosting the Grand Prix last year, but hopefully we'll do this time around. And there's been an incident in Sector 2, and it looks like someone's gone for a spin. It looks like one of the Renaults has gone for a spin, but turned around and got going again. PLG Jackson goes quickest on a 35.2. He set that time on the medium compound. And so, Saleh 30 has gone second fastest on a 38.2 on the softs. So 3 seconds off the pace. Here's Tilwick 14. And the last few corners, he's lost a lot of time somewhere in this lap, so it's a very unrepresentative lap for him. For the Haas driver, and the Williams has gone into the barrier there. Has Bishop's finger has gone for a spin. Lap time's been invalidated, so that lap won't count for him. Stoke Bloke has gone second fastest on a 38.2. Ray E46 in the Red Bull. Crossing the line now to go second fastest on a 36.8. It's a better lap for him. I have to say, what a lap it was from PLG Jackson on the medium compound. Excellent lap that was. Stoke Bloke set his time on the mediums as well. And Renault's gone for a spin there. I wonder if that's Ekere Muga. Here's Gamer James 06. Now he's got to be a contender for pole. Had a disappointing time at last time out at Spa, finishing 7th. He hasn't been on the podium in the last few rounds. He needs a strong result here to throw himself back into championship contention. This is qualifying, so he wants to be as high up as possible. Over the line he goes, and he's on the front row. Second fastest on a 35.4. So it's a good lap there from Gamer James. Mucky Mackey's gone 8th fastest on a 39 dead. Not a very good lap really. And Quasinada 67. He lost time somewhere on this lap. So over the line he comes. It's not going to be anywhere near pole. He'll be lucky enough to go ahead of Tilwick, and he is. So that's him in 9th for now. Bishop's finger coming back into the pits. Ekere Muga, who made that mistake earlier on, does set a time. It's a 2-minute 4.5, so he's got some work to do. Coming through in the fastest of anyone in Sector 1. And lots up into... Oh, he's lost time there. And I think he may well have aborted that lap. Yeah, he's aborted that lap, as Ben McEwen with that mistake. And that's the thing. I'm trying to find lap time here in Singapore. Marcus 22, third quickest on a 36.4. There's seeing more and more drivers back in the pits to change onto another set of boots. And whilst we're waiting for drivers to complete their second runs in the team standings, Mercedes lead the way by 7 points over Williams, 117 playing 110. Then it's Alfa Romeo in 3rd on 89 and McLaren in 4th on 85. Ben McEwen did complete his lap to go 10th fastest on a 42.5, but he lost time with that mistake earlier, so he'll be back for more. Meanwhile, his switchback, 37, fastest of anyone in Sector 1 so far. No mistake there through turn 7. very tricky part of the racetrack is this particular section. Switchback 37 goes purple in sector 2. So on course for a good lap here, and Pyorji Jackson has retired from the session, so clearly he thinks that his lap time's good enough to put himself at the front of the field. We'll have a look at switchback. And in the last few turns, he'll cross the line. Where's he going to go? He's slowed over the line there as switchback. I wonder if he's done that deliberately to maybe not start on those tyres. Now here's Sali 30. Time in sector 2, and 7 tenths up from his previous best, so he's on course for a better lap here. Underneath the bridge he goes. And turns 20 and 21. And his time's invalidated, actually, exceeding track limits, so no improvement there. Bishop's Finger 1, purple in sector 1. Now Bishop's Finger, in terms of where he is in the standings, currently in 12th. He withdrew from the Belgian round for connection reasons. So far in the championship he's picked up 14 points. His best result being 6th in Bahrain. Sure, Ben McEwen is back out there on his outlap. Anyway, here's Bishop's Finger, looking to post his first time of this qualifying session. 6 minutes to go. It's not going to be at the front. He goes 10th fastest on 39.8. So a lot of time still to be found. Hinati Nutter, 13th fastest on a 43.5. A long way behind. James 06, 300ths up from his previous best, but he's got a lot of traffic in front of him. I think this is going to hinder his lap, you know. Racing Point getting out of the way. He's going to be coming up to a Renault very, very shortly. James around in the last few turns, and he's coming back into the pit lane. Yeah, he's lost time, so it's probably a smart ideal, actually. If you know you're not going to improve, there's no point going round another lap. So everyone has set a time so far. For Muga, 29 seconds off the pace, but he made a mistake on his previous lap. But he's on course for a much better one here. Over the line he goes. And that's 11th fastest on a 38.7 on the soft tyres. Here's Ben McEwen. Not a purple sector this time. Well, Ben McEwen has been on pole in each of the last 4 rounds. He's won 3 of the last 4 as well. This could really give him the boost going into the last few races with another victory. He's purple through sector 2, locks up though into that right-hander. He's got a racing point in front of him who needs to move out of the way, and he doesn't move out of the way in time. That's a really poor error there from the racing point of Quasinada, who should have got out of the way there. So it's really poor judgment there, and that's completely hindered Ben McEwen's lap. He's coming back into the pits. So we've got drivers who will be coming back into the pits. Radicon feels that he's done enough for qualifying. Nougat didn't improve his time there. Now we can see a lot of these drivers about to exit the pits for their last runs. Here's Stoke Bloke, who's currently 9th on a 38.2. So we'll be looking for a better grid position than that. That's one. He's better than his previous best by 300ths. Didn't take too much curve on the inside there. It was nearly a lap being invalidated. So coming through sector 2, it's 400ths down from... Oh, he's crashed into the barrier there, is Stoke Bloke. And that's his last time lap done. Pushed too hard there, Stoke Bloke, so he won't be improving his time for the rest of the session. Switchback 37, who's on his last flying lap, DRS Open. I'm not sure if we will get any improvements on this lap or in the last minute or so. Marcus 22's retired from the session, so he'll start no higher than 4th. What can Switchback 37 come up with? He's in 7th place at the moment. He'll need to get up there with the likes of Gamer James and Radicon. Ben McEwen's not set a representative time because of him getting stuck behind traffic. And Switchback 37's gone purple in sector 2. Ray 47's been disqualified from the session for going round the wrong way on the track, and he's in 5th fastest, so he will start from the back of the grid. So Switchback 37's up in position now. I'm sure he'll want to go higher than 6th. No problems through turns 20 and 21. And coming through the fast section of 22 and 23. Not too much curb on the inside. And goes 3rd fastest on 35.4. So good lap there from Switchback. Monkey Mafia on a better lap than before. Now let's see what Bishop's Finger is on at the moment. In fact, Ben McEwen's right behind him. But Ben McEwen's gone purple in sector 2. He got held up by his teammate. So I'm not sure if Ben McEwen is going to be on pole here. So going underneath the Anderson Bridge now. Don't think Ben McEwen will go. I can imagine he'll be in there along the likes of PRG Jackson, Gamer James, and Switchback. I think he may get pole, you know. Goes over the line. It goes pole position on a 34.3. That's a great lap time from Ben McEwen. Gamer James had improved to second on a 34.5. And I'm not sure if there's going to be any other drivers to improve lap times here. B Natty Natty's going to come over the line. Does improve his time, but stays 15th fastest. So Ben McEwen on pole position yet again for the 5th race in a row. He didn't have it all his own way. Game Jones 06 will be alongside him on the front row with PRG Jackson in 3rd, Switchback 37 in 4th, and Radicon in 5th. So we've got the 4 championship contenders starting in the top 5 on the grid. So Marcus 22 in 6th place in the Red Bull, followed by Sally 30 in the Mercedes, alongside Monkey Mafia on row 4. It's pole position for Ben McEwen. It's going to be a long race this one. So rundown on who has qualified where. So Ben McEwen and Gamer James on the front row. PRG Jackson and Switchback 37 on row 2, followed by Radicon and Marcus 22 on row 3. Then it's Sully 30 and Monkey Mafia on row 4. Denmark and Stokebloke on row 5. Desimpi, Ekri Muga on row 6. Then it's Vicious Finger, Quasinado on row 7. B Natty Natter and Tilwick on row 8. And Ray E46, who was disqualified from the session for going around the wrong way, he starts 17th and last. So, an interesting session there with a mixture of compounds being used in the session. And with there being such a long lap as well, it's just how long can the softs withstand the nature of the Marina Bay street circuit. So it'll be very interesting to see what compounds each of the drivers will choose for the start of this one. So 20 seconds to go before the start of the formation lap. And drivers selecting their fuel and tyres. Fuel consumption not an issue here really in Singapore. So drivers go off on their formation lap. So Ben McEwen leading the way. And I want to have a look and see what tyres each driver is on. So Ben McEwen, Gamer James on the soft compound. It's Sarli 30 and Monkey Mafia on the softs. Likewise with Quasinado 67 and Tilwick 14. The others are all on mediums. So you can imagine those starting on the mediums will go on the hard tyre. Close to half race distance, probably around lap 13 or 14. Maybe even sooner than that. The track position is crucial here in Singapore. You don't want to get held up by a slower car for a lot of the lap. So you can see the predicted pit stop strategy. So those starting on the softs would be coming in around about lap 6 or 8 for a set of the mediums, and then again 12-13 laps later for another set of the mediums. Round 7 of the America F1 Series. Championship leader Ben McEwen on pole. Gamer James 06 right behind him, one of the championship contenders. Gamer James 06 is 13 points behind Ben McEwen in the driver's standing, so it's important for him to get ahead of Ben McEwen, not necessarily at the start, but by the end of this one. There's been 31 lap race. It's going to be quite enduring for the drivers. If we do have rain as well, that's going to throw another spice into the mix. And Solly 30 is disqualified from the session. He's just put straight to the grid. Likewise with Quasinada. Same with Switchback. Marcus 22 as well. So Ben McEwen leading the cars onto the grid now, taking up their positions. You see the Haas there and the Red Bull of Ray 46 taking up the last position. So 31 laps lie ahead here in Singapore. Who will prevail under the lights in Singapore? Lights out and away we go. Ben McEwen gets off the line cleanly. Even better start from P.R.G. Jackson, who gets in between Gavin James and Ben McEwen, and Gavin James spins round at turn 1, and that's his race compromised already. Ben McEwen continues to lead the way. There's another spin as well. Marcus 22 has gone round the wrong way, so drama already after the first few turns. Gavin James 06 is at the back of the field, and Ben McEwen is well and truly in the lead. It's P.R.G. Jackson in second place, followed by Radicon, Switchback, Sarli, Monkey Mafia, Denmark 126 and Stokeblake. You can see there's the Mercedes of Sarli 30 nearly losing the place there to the Alfa Romeo of Monkey Mafia. Denmark 126 is right behind him, and there's a spin in sector 2. Couldn't quite tell where that happened, but it's cleared away very, very quickly. But Ben McEwen got the start he wanted, and with Gamer James 06 further down the order, it's just the start he would have wanted in regards to the championship. And P.R.G. Jackson smashes the racing point against the barrier and damages the front wing for good measure. So he'll be losing aerodynamic performance. You can see Radicon in third place behind him. Then it's Alfa Romeo, Mercedes and Alfa Romeo behind him in positions 4, 5 and 6. So Gamer James trying to make up for lost time already. It's a long race this, so he's got enough time to make up the ground that he's already lost. So Ben McEwen on his soft tyres will need to reach out the gap for as long as he can. There's a spin in the tailwick 14 who's made a mistake somewhere. P.R.G. Jackson's in the pits for a new front wing. Now he started the race on the medium compounded P.R.G. Jackson. What compound is he going to go on? Now, is that rain in the air? It is, and it's raining already. Would you believe it? So that's going to make the race even more interesting. You can see the Red Bull there of Marcus 22 in the pits for a new front wing as well. So P.R.G. Jackson going back out on a set of mediums, as is Marcus 22. So Ben McEwen continuing to lead the Singapore Grand Prix ahead of Radicon and Switchback 37. Sarli 30 in 4th place. It's Monkey Mafia, Denmark 166, it's Stoblo, Desimpi, Ekremuga and Bishop's Finger rounding out the top 10. Long way to go yet in this one. Now don't be at all surprised if we do get a safety car here, especially in these conditions. Now, just because the rain comes down doesn't necessarily mean that the drivers will eventually go onto the intermediates. It could just be a few raindrops and no more. We'll find out as the race goes on anyway. Doesn't seem to be deterring Ben McEwen so far. Coming towards the end of his second lap in the lead, and we've got an incident, and Monkey Mafia has crashed out. Would you believe it? And a safety car is being deployed, and that's a Renault of Denmark 166. I wonder if those two have had a coming together underneath the bridge. So that's Monkey Mafia in the barrier and out of the race. And the safety car is being deployed that picks up Ben McEwen. So I can imagine there'll be a few drivers in the pits, including Switchback. Now, it'll be interesting to see what tyres he chooses to go on. He's going to go on a set of soft tyres, and I think he's damaged his front wing as well, as the sole surviving Alfa Romeo. So that's drama already in the first couple of laps. The safety car is out, the rain is coming down, so when do you blink to go on to the intermediates if the conditions were to worsen? So Denmark 166 coming back onto the racetrack on his set of hard tyres. Not sure how much longer he'll be needing those. Now Ben McEwen will be conscious as to when he'll need to pit for intermediates. You can see there the track becoming more and more slippy, and he may need to come in either at the end of this lap or the one before. And Ray46 has retired from the session. I think he's had an accident somewhere. Yeah, he has. He's gone into the barrier on the right hand side, so he's out of the race. So that's another driver gone. So 2 out of the 17 have dropped out of this one. Ben McEwen leads ahead of Radicon. Then it's the second Mercedes of Sali 30. Last minute replacement. And another driver's in the barrier now. Bishop's Finger has gone for a trip into the barriers there. And he stopped there momentarily. It's restarted again though. No. Ben McEwen has got to decide when he's going to go in the pits to make the change to the intermediates, because it looks imminent that these drivers are going to be pitting for intermediates. I think he's going to preempt and go for it. He makes contact with the barrier as he enters the pits there. So that's him going in, and Radicon decides to stay out. He clearly thinks it's not ready. It's not time for the intermediates just yet. And so yeah, Ben McEwen is going to go on the intermediates. And he's had to wait for the cars to go past him as well. Now he had a front wing change as well, because he collided with the wall as he was entering the pits. And he's lost a few places to Sali 30, Disimpi and Quasinada. So Ben McEwen with already a bit of work to do. Disimpi's on the intermediates. He's the only driver other than Ben McEwen who's gone on the intermediates, and he's gone into the barrier as well now, and he's got front wing damage. So that's not good news for him. So Radicon in the lead ahead of Stokebrook. Then it's Ekremuga, Switchback, Pure G Jackson, who's recovered after that poor start, in 5th place. Marcus 22 there. Game Joe's 06. It's behind Ben McEwen in 11th. Now I wonder if the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. If it doesn't, then I would think that Radicon will need to go onto a set of intermediates before the safety car comes in. So here's Radicon behind the safety car. Hasn't won since the opening race of the season in Bahrain, and Bishop's Finger is the first driver to get a time penalty for corner cutting. Needless, it has to be said. And Bishop's Finger, I think, has gone for a spin as well. These drivers really clearly are struggling, and the safety car is staying out. Radicon still doesn't pit. Ekremuga is pitting for a set of the intermediates, and I would think Disimpi's going to get that front wing changed as well. So Gamer James clearly is going to need a set of the intermediates. Quasinada 67 has received a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and you can see the Alfa Romeo of Switchback. He's gone for a spin under safety car conditions, and surely every driver out there that's not on the intermediates needs to get on it now. You can see the Renault there of Ekamuga on his set of mediums, his new mediums, going for a spin. Now, they are not the tyres to be on right now. Surely not. You can see Bishop's Finger and Binati Nata has gone into the polystyrene block as he tries to get into the pit lane and go on a set of the intermediates. Now, thinking about it, how long will it be if the conditions were to deteriorate? How long would it be until the drivers are needing to go on a set of full wets? You can see Binati Nata making the nose change there. So we've had quite a crazy start and we've still got an awful long way to go yet. So the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Now remember, Radicon has not pitted for the intermediates. Neither has Stokely, or PRG Jackson, or Melkis, or Sarley. Switchback 37, and then Ben McEwen in 7th place is the highest of those currently on the intermediates. So keep an eye out on him. So Radicon will dictate the pace. I reckon he'll need to come in the pits as soon as the race gets underway. There's no way he can think that he can carry on the set of the slicks at the moment. He's got to come in. If he stays out, clearly wanting that track position, and Game James 06 has picked up 2 penalties. Radicon spins on the restart, and I'm not sure if the drivers are allowed to overtake, and clearly the Red Bull there of Malgus 22 overtook before the green flag. I think he's going to make contact there with the Ferrari and then the Williams, and you can see Ben McEwen clearly on the right tyres on the intermediates, slicing his way through the field on the restart, and you can see there the Red Bull of Malkus 22 clearly struggling, as is the Alfa Romeo switchback, and PRG Jackson nearly losing it coming out of turn 4, and Ben McEwen's going to be right on the tail of him, and those who stayed out on the slicks are going to be regretting their decision of staying out on them. So PRG Jackson still leading at the moment, but Ben McEwen is going to get by him very, very shortly. And not to mention, Gamer James 06 has got an 8-second time penalty. Now 3 seconds of it is for exceeding track limits, 5 seconds for ignoring yellow flags, so clearly overtaking drivers under the safety car. So how long will it be before Ben McEwen gets in front? PRG Jackson trying to fight it out with him, but I don't think there's any contest here really. Ben McEwen gets on the curb. PRG Jackson trying to get the power down out of the corner, but Ben McEwen is not going to take too many risks here because he knows that PRG Jackson is going to go in the pits at the end of his lap to get a set of intermediates on. And someone's gone for a spin. It's one of the Renaults that's gone for a spin into the barrier, and it's Akria Miyuga, one of the debutants for this race. PRG Jackson and Monkey Mafia has left the session, but he's already out of the race anyway. So PRG Jackson decides to stay out. So maybe there is still some grip to be found on the 6. And you can see Quasinada going for another spin in the racing point. And he's retired from the session now, so that's him out of the race. And I think a Haas driver's gone into the barrier as well. You can see the Haas is clearly struggling. PRG Jackson, and I think Ben McEwen has made a mistake somewhere. He has, and Gamer James 06 on his intermediates has got past him on the back straight. But Ben McEwen's going to be along on the inside of him into turn 6. Gamer James goes over the white line, gets his elbows out on the Williams and takes 5th place from him. McEwen clearly struggling. Now, the interesting point is, parts of the track are more slippy than others. And I think the rain might have stopped, you know. So those who are on the slick tyres are very much in their own window. So those who are in the intermediates are going to need to come back into the pits. So clearly it was a short spell of the rain. And someone's gone into the barrier there, and it's the McLaren of Gamer James this time! And he's completely damaged the front wing there. I'll say completely, he's partly damaged the front wing. But he'll need to pit for a new nose, really. He's going to lose a horrible amount of downforce. You see Ben McEwen back up into 5th. But surely he's going to need to come back into the pits for a set of slicks. And he is doing so. Nightmare of a race for Ben McEwen so far. But we're only on lap 8. There's still a lot that can change. And Denmark 166 has got a 3-second time penalty now for exceeding track limits. So right behind Radicon he is. And Gamer James 06 serving 5 of his 8-second time penalty. Ikara Muga 5 seconds added for speeding in the pit lane. So going too quick there. Simpi's back in the pits. Bishop's Finger, Binati Nata will need to come back in as well. So Pure G Jackson continues to lead in the racing point. And it's Malkus 22 in 2nd. Followed by Switchback, Sarli 30 and Radicon making up the top 5. Now as it stands, as far as the championship is concerned, Switchback 37 would get 15 points from this race. Just trying to check who's got the fastest lap so far. It's Ben McEwen who's got that. So Switchback 37 would get 15 points from this race, which would put him on to 86. Radicon, who was second in the championship before the event, in 5th place, he'd get 10 points, which would put him on to 99. Ben McEwen, who's in 8th, would get 5 points with the fastest lap, and move on to 101. And Gamer James 06 is in 9th, would be on 85. So Ben McEwen would lead the championship by 2 points as it stands, but there's still a long way to go yet in this race. So Pure G Jackson coming up to lap the what looks like the Williams of Bishop's Finger. So Pure G Jackson getting by there. Malkus 22 in the mix. Other battles are going on at the moment. This is the closest at the moment really between Stokebloke and Denmark 166 in the battle for 6th place. Denmark 166 has got a 3-second time penalty, remember. So we'll need to try and make his way through the field. PRG Jackson has now got the fastest off of the race, which means that Ben McEwen would be on 100 points at the end of this race, which would narrow the gap down to just a single point between himself and Radicon. And Malkus 22 has got a 3-second time penalty now for exceeding track limits. So 3 drivers out of the race already: Quasinada, Ray and Monkey Mafia. 14 still going. Ben McEwen looking to make up for lost time. He's on the hard tyres now. So is he going to try and go to the end of the race on those? Or will he maybe stick a set of the soft tyres on later on? But he's got the fastest lap point back now, which is crucial for him as far as the championship is concerned. Denmark 166. Looking to make up for lost time. Right behind Stoke bloke, who won't have the benefit of the DRS when they get onto the next back straight. Turn around to the hairpin now. Denmark 166 locks up. He's too far back to have a go from there. Georgie Jackson continuing to lead, and Ben McEwen's got a time penalty now for exceeding track limits, so that's further bad news for him. And now Switchback 37's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so it's penalties galore at the moment. It's going to shake up the order come the end of this one. And one of the Haas drivers gone for a spin. It's Tilwick 14 in the barriers there, damaging his front wing in the process. And Denmark 166 has passed Stoke bloke into 6th. Ben McEwen in 8th. And one of the Haas drivers has gone into the pits. That'll be Tilwick 14. He's gone in the pits for a new front wing. Now Georgie Jackson. Lovely camera angle there. Through the Anderson Bridge. Marcus 22 in 2nd. Switchback 37 in 3rd. And Sarli 30 in 4th place. You can see Ben McEwen trying to make up as much ground as possible. I'm interested to see what tyres each of these guys are on. Now, Ben McEwen's on fresh hards. Stoke bloke is on mediums, which has been on since the start of the event. And Vaticon's on old mediums, as is Georgie Jackson and Malkis. Now, how quick will Ben McEwen make up the time lost from being on the intermediates and having to make that extra stop? And Vaticon's in the pits for a change of tyres. He's going to go on the set of the hards. Presumably he's going to go to the end of the race. Now Ben McEwen. I think Radicon had a change of nose cone as well, so he'll be behind Ben McEwen. I think he'll get out in front of the McLaren of Gamer James. Now the Haas driver of Tilwick 14's gone for another off into the barriers there. So Radicon rejoins ahead, crucially, of Gamer James in 8th. You can see Switchback 37 on his soft tyres that will surely be going off the cliff in a few laps' time. He needs to come into the pits probably for a set of the hards. Georgie Jackson, no trouble with tyre wear at the moment, continuing to lead the race, no time penalty to his name so far. But Switchback 37 is coming in, so surely he's going to be going on to the hards. Sarli 30 continuing to stay out on his hard tyres. So yeah, it is going to be a set of the hard tyres for the Alfa Romeo driver, who goes back on his way. Stoke bloke is going to go on the hard tyres as well. which will promote Ben McEwen up into 6th. And Switchback 37 will rejoin ahead of Ben McEwen, so that's crucial as far as the championship is concerned. And in fact, Switchback 37's gone for a spin at turn 1, would you believe? And he's fallen behind Ben McEwen as a result of that. So not good news for him. I wonder if he's damaged his front wing as he's exiting the pit lane. Trying to get a good look at it. I think he has, you know. Yeah, he has. He's damaged the front wing on the left-hand side, so he'll lose aerodynamic performance, but that's good news for Ben McEwen, who's now up into 5th place. Now, Pure G Jackson coming up behind the Haas of Tilwick. He's about to go 2 laps down now on the leader. Pure G Jackson continuing to go on. Will Malgus 22 come into the pits? Not that time he will. There's not too many changes up and down the field at the moment. Some drivers have been pitting. The closest at the moment is between Radicon and Gamer James over 7th. So Pure G Jackson in the racing point, the sole surviving racing point, and looks like someone else has gone for a spin behind him. It might have just been the Haas of Tilwick behind Jackson. Ben McEwen flying at the moment on his hard tyres. Now if he does get back up into the podium, that'll be a great comeback for him. I'm sure he'll want to get that elusive victory. Well, I say elusive, he's already won 3 races this season. He looks to make it 4 in the last 5. And so at 14's gone for another spin in the Haas. And he's on his way again, not having a good race. Georgie Jackson is in the pits now. He's going to go on the set of the hard tyres. No need to change his front wing either. So he'll be back out, I think, ahead of Sarli. No, he's not. So he's behind Sarli and he's behind the Renault. I think that's Egriniga who's a lap behind. So Kyoji Jackson rejoining in 3rd place, ahead of Dunlop 166 and Ben McEwen. Switchback 37's got another 3-second time penalty added. So he's now got 6 seconds worth of time penalty, which will go to his race time. Meanwhile, his Melgus 22 currently in the lead. Sarli 30's got a 3-second time penalty now for exceeding track limits. So Pure G Jackson, the only driver in the top 6 to not have a time penalty to his name. And Sector 2 is another, and unsurprisingly it's the Haas there of Tilwick who's had a nightmare of a race in this one. Novice 22. How much longer will he continue on his mediums? I think he'll probably come in at the end of this lap. And he is. So he's down before the line, doesn't exceed the speed limit. And the Haas driver of Tilwick's on into the barrier again. And Pure G Jackson Can he go back ahead of him into the lead? He'll come out ahead of Denmark 166, will Marcus 22. And off he goes. And Tilwick 14 has retired from the session now. So down to 13 runners. Ben McEwen right behind Denmark 166. Continuing the comeback is the Williams driver around the outside with DRS. And McEwen is up into 4th position now. So good move there from McEwen. Opremiga getting another 3 seconds added. And it looks as though the Haas driver of might be B Nutty Nutters going. I think that's Tilwick 14 actually. He was just pulling off. But Pure-G Jackson, purple in sector 2 at the moment as well. So can you get that fastest lap point? He is on fresh tyres, you know. Marcus 22 in front of Ben McEwen, but for how much longer? Because Ben McEwen, as we well know, is a faster driver on paper than Marcus, as he has been so far this season. And Salih's in the way now as well of Marcus 22, which is going to hinder Marcus. He does get by the Mercedes eventually. Pure-G Jackson's got the fastest lap now as well. Salih goes into the pits. And Ben McEwen goes after Marcus 22. And Salih getting rid of the hards to go onto the mediums. Interesting to see what pace he can come up with. Radicon will go past him, as will Gamer James. And I think Stoke Blake will as well. Let's go back into the battle for second though, because Ben McEwen's right behind Marcus for second. And Stoke Blake does get ahead of Salih 30. DeSimpi's a long way behind, so Pure-G Jackson 13 seconds clear of Marcus. Ben McEwen continued to refuse to leave him alone. A bit too deep into the hairpin there. Pure-G Jackson completing the lap. Just 14 laps to go now in this race. Pure-G Jackson continuing. Staying in command in this one. And someone's gone for a spin. It looks like the Renault of Ekamuga not having a good race so far with the time penalties he's had so far and the incidents he's been involved in. Here's the battle for second again. Ben McEwen's got a little bit more ERS that he can use over Marcus 22 on the back straight. DRS wide open. Can he get by the Red Bull driver? Not quite this time. He doesn't want to lose too much time. He wants to be going for the win really, but having said that, he'll be thinking more about the championship. Switchback is in 5th, Radicon in 6th, and Gamer James 06 in 7th place. So Ben McEwen would increase his lead in the title fight with 3 rounds to go. Ben McEwen not close enough to the Red Bull in order to have a go. This is allowing Pure-G Jackson to increase his lead over him. You can see Salih on his fresher rubber on the mediums, right behind Stoke Bloke. You can see the Renault there of Ekamuga making the mistake. see Ben McEwen all over the back of the Red Bull of Malchus, desperate to try and get past him on the straight. He won't be able to do on the start-finish straight, I don't think. And P.R.G. Jackson's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so that's not good news for him, but it is for Ben McEwen. He's going to be close enough to get into the slipstream of the Red Bull and have a go. And it looks as though that the Mercedes of Salih's made a mistake. He's broken his front wing and he's going to struggle to keep up with that, so comes back into the pits for a new nose. This is most definitely an interesting battle. You see the Renault there of Ogremuga continuing to have his own maladies. Simply getting a time penalty now as well. And Simply's been penalised for speeding in the pits. And Ben McEwen makes a mistake and makes contact with the barrier. Not sure if there's any damage to the Williams, but that's not going to help his chances one bit. And the McLaren of Ogremuga continuing to have problems. Bishop's Finger now ahead of the Simply, who's just coming out of the pits. Bishop's Finger up into the points. It's just getting worse now for Simply, crossing the white line of the pit exit. Another 5 seconds added to his time. Ben McEwen falling 2.5 seconds behind on Malchus. We'll probably be thinking more about the championship now, if I'm honest with you. Salih 30 did rejoin in 9th on his brand new set of the mediums. P.R.G. Jackson can afford to take it easy. You see Ben McEwen trying to push as hard as he can, but I don't know whether the tyres of his have fallen off the cliff, or whether that contact with the barrier has upset the balance of the car. You see Stoke Bloke exiting the pits behind Salih, and he's on a fresh set of the mediums. Now if you're Ben McEwen, do you come in for a set of mediums as well? He's got 11 seconds on Denmark and only another 2 on the switchback, so I think a change onto the mediums is not really an option for him at the moment. Third place may have to do for him. So P.R.G. Jackson continuing to lead the way for Racing Point. And the switchback has got past Denmark 166 is coming in for a change onto the mediums and a new front wing as well, so that will be him dropping behind Gamer James. Salih's a long way behind, so Denmark will rejoin in 7th place. Gap now 15 seconds between P.R.G. Jackson in the lead and Malchus in 2nd. Radicon, he does not have a time penalty at the moment, so if he can stay within 6 seconds of Switchback, who would be ahead of him at the end of this race. So Simply's now got ahead of Bishop's Finger, who locks up, just avoids the barrier. So it's Simply back into the points. Right, I wonder if rain is on the horizon again. My guess that it isn't, but I could well be wrong. Either way, here's Ben McEwen. He's continuing to lose ground now on Marcus 22. And those could well be the last stops between now and the end of the race. Stokebloke, as looking at where he is at the moment on the track, he's less than 3 seconds behind Sarley, but with Sarley's time penalty, Stokebloke would be ahead of him at the end of this race. And Marcus 22's got another 3-second time penalty now for multiple warnings. Pure G Jackson been absolutely brilliant since the start. And B Natty Natter has crashed out of the race, so that's his race run. And yet another disappointing event for him. So down to 12 runners. And it's a virtual safety car now, so if you're Ben McEwen or Malchus 22, do you pit for a set of the soft compound or the mediums? We'll find out soon enough. Now Malchus 22 decides to stay out. Ben McEwen stays out as well, not taking a gamble. Now does Switchback 37 take a gamble and go on a set of the mediums or the softs at this stage of the race? He doesn't take the gamble either, so clearly these drivers thinking that it's not worth changing onto a set of the... have another set of tyres in the dry compound. I think we'll be back underway very shortly, any second. And DeSimpi's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car, so he'll need to be pitting. He can go past the sign twice before he takes his drive-through. He'll fall behind Bishop's Finger, so he'll lose that point. But Pure G Jackson continues to lead. Marcus 22 is in second, ahead of Ben McEwen. He's coming up to lap his teammate, believe it or not. I'd be interested to know how many laps the likes of Bishop's Finger and Negramuga are behind the leaders. And Negramuga's gone for another spin now, I believe. In fact, DeSimpi, Bishop's Finger and Negramuga are only a lap behind the leader. And there's an incident sector 3 which is cleared up very quickly there. Marcus 22 looking good in second. Ben McEwen. And a bit of front wing flying off the Williams of Bishop's Finger. Simply serving his drive-through penalty now. So with Ben McEwen in third place, Switchback 37 in fourth, Radicon fifth, Gamer James 06th. The four championship contenders, as far as the championship is concerned. Ben McEwen would extend his lead by 3 points over Radicon. Gamer James would remain third, and Switchback would be in fourth place. So Ben McEwen's lead would increase to 10 over Radicon. In fact, it'll be more than that because Radicon's in fifth place. So Ben McEwen would extend his lead to 12, going into the next race in Brazil. In fact, Radicon's the only driver without a time penalty to his name now, so... Can We have an outside chance of getting 4th place from switchback. So Ben McEwen continuing to lose ground out on Malkus. No way switchback is going to get close to him. There's 7 laps to go now. Pure G Jackson continues to lead. Marcus 22 in 2nd, and it's Ben McEwen in 3rd. Now Marcus 22 considering that he is just trying to find him where he is on the list of drivers. He is racing in a Red Bull. Yeah, so you see 15th position in the championship on 12 points, so with a best finish of 6th in Canada, so a 2nd place finish would increase his tally in the championship to 30, which would elevate him massively. Go ahead of a load of drivers. Switchback 37's got another 3 seconds added to his time penalty now, so he will most definitely fall behind Radicon as it stands. And then McEwen's got another 3-second time penalty as well. So drivers clearly pushing a bit too hard in the closing stages and getting penalised as a result of it. Pure G Jackson coming up to lap Stoke Bloke. He's in 9th. And Pure G Jackson hasn't been troubled really since he took the lead at the start. There was a worry as to whether he was on the right tyres when the rain came down. Radicon in 5th place is Sarli. 3rd, he's got a 3-second time penalty being added, because he's got 6 seconds worth. So Radicon in 5th place would move up to 4th as it stands with Switchback's penalty. So Pure G Jackson's lead now is 18 seconds over Malkus. And if Pure G Jackson had been in the championship for the whole season, he would have been right in there with the top 4. But it's most probably too late to even think about that. I'm sure he'll take the victory no matter what happens. I want to finish high up in the championship as possible. There'll be another different team that takes victory as well as a different winner. We've had 4 drivers take victory in the America F1 Series so far this season, and all 4 of them are the top 4 in the championship. So Pure G Jackson is most definitely going to add his name to that list as Stoke Bloke moves out of the way. The yellow flag is there, but I think that's just because Stoke Bloke was moving out of the way of the racing point. Now, is that rain coming down again? Yes, it is. Rain's pouring down again onto the Marina Bay Street circuit. As you can see, Grimuga making another mistake there in the Renault. So Pure G Jackson's got another 4 laps to cope in these conditions on slick. So if this race didn't have enough drama, well, we could well see another twist to the end of this race. Now I'd like to think that Pure G Jackson Just going to continue making him, as you can see, Demo 166 right behind Gamer James, who is struggling, who makes contact with the barrier. Demo 166 makes contact with the McLaren there, but Gamer James just about remains ahead of the Renault. He's struggling so much in these changeable conditions, and the rain's coming down seemingly heavier than it did so earlier on in the race. And I think, if you're PRG Jackson, I think you may want to come in for a set of the intermediates. And Demo 166 getting the pound out a bit too much, as Marcus 22 has got another 3 seconds added to his time penalty. So he's losing time at the moment, and there's an incident in Sector 2. It's the McLaren of Edwin Muger going for another spin. Stokeblow gets past him and laps him. The drivers are very much beginning to struggle. PRG Jackson's a long way around the circuit at the moment before he can get to his box. Incident in Sector 3, and it looks like the McLaren there of Gamer James has gone for a spin. So one of the championship contenders has gone for another spin at the bridge. He gets going again, but he's lost a lot of time. He rejoins in 7th, but damage to his nose cone won't do his chances of getting a good result out of this race any good whatsoever. And he's going to be pitting, I think, as well. And we've got an AlphaTauri that's been in the barriers as well as DeSimpi. Now, PRG Jackson, surely he's going to be coming into the pits. He's got to, really. Or is he going to stay out for a little bit longer? I think he's going to stay out for a little bit longer. Gamer James rejoins on a set of intermediates, and to see what how he fares in regards to grip. But PRG Jackson is beginning to struggle now, and he's only gone past the pit, so he's got to do another whole lap on his hard tyres before he comes in. And DeSimpi's gone into the barriers again, and you can see Edgar Muger coming into the pits. Has gone for another set of the medium compounds, so not the intermediates there, and DeSimpi's ripped off his front wing completely. And PRG Jackson's struggling now, and it looks as though Radicon has got past Switchback, who's wrecked his front wing, would you believe it? So the time is now to get onto a set of intermediates for these drivers. And you can see drama happening everywhere. You can see on this Marina Bay Street circuit. So Switchback struggling to get into the pit lane. Demo 166 almost goes into the barrier, makes a mistake there. So you would think PRG Jackson would come into the pits by now. Tiptoeing his way around, it makes contact with the wall there. Oh, this is absolutely intense. You couldn't take your eyes off this race. With only 2 laps to go at the end of this one, and PRG Jackson has got a bit more of the circuit to go before he comes in. You can see Gamer James in the background on his intermediates, obviously on the right tyres. You can see PRG Jackson trying to get round. Now, is he going to come into the pits or is he going to stay out? No, he's coming to the pits, which I think is the right decision. He's got 30 seconds in hand on Malchus, and he's got 6 seconds of time penalty less than him, so he can afford to take it very easy. Gamer James 06 clearly on the right tyres. Switchback 37 on set of intermediates now. If you're Malchus 22, you need to get onto a set of intermediates now. So PRG Jackson exiting the pits, still in the lead. And Malchus 22 will be coming in as is Ben McEwen. Radicon, as the rain's getting heavier, it's going to be even more difficult for him as he's trying to get round the corner. He makes contact with the barrier, would you believe it? And he's carrying on now. He'll be desperate to get back into the pits for a set of intermediates. And this will have massive implications to the World Championship as it stands. Ben McEwen rejoins. I don't think he's on a set of intermediates. No, he's not. He's on a set of the mediums, would you believe it? I think he didn't quite put his... he didn't request for the intermediates, I don't believe. Or whether he forgot to put the intermediates on his request set. Radicon's gone on the set of the intermediates now. Gamer Jones has got past Salil for 6th place now. But Ben McEwen's going to be struggling massively. I know we've only got 2 laps left, but it's a long lap. It's the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Switchback 37's got ahead of Radicon now, so Switchback 37 is up into 4th, but with a 12-second time penalty, Radicon would be back ahead of him at the end of this race. And instant down there in sector 1. And Edward continues to struggle there. Then McEwen in 3rd place, 18 seconds ahead of Switchback. You can see Denmark has got ahead of Salil, who's now gone onto the intermediate tyres. And the Renault of Egremuga going for another spin. This time at turn 6. Salil will rejoin in 9th place. So the only driver not on the intermediates is Ben McEwen in 3rd. He makes contact with the wall and is continuing to struggle. Now, is he brave enough to continue on his mediums and get to the end of the race? Now, the thing is, even if he falls behind Switchback 37, Switchback would need to open up a 6-second lead over Ben McEwen in order to get ahead of him to take the final podium spot. We're on the last lap now, and Pure G Jackson has dominated this race. Had a bit of a scare with the intermediate conditions earlier, and he was able to get round to the pits to put on the intermediates now. You see Ben McEwen does finally come into the pits for a set of the intermediates. It's been a marvellous race for Pure G Jackson. In only his 2nd race in the series, he hasn't been in the championship since the opening round in Bahrain. But he's going to add his name to the winners list, the 5th different driver from the 5th different team to win a race in the America F1 Series. Surrounding the last few corners now. Pure G Jackson's got just 4 corners to go, and the checker flag will be out for him. 2 turns to go, and Pure G Jackson crosses the line to win the Singapore Grand Prix and sets the fireworks alight and spins over the line in style. A fantastic result for him. Marvellous, marvellous performance for Pure G Jackson on his return to the America F1 Series. Malkus is going to finish in 2nd place for Red Bull, by far his best result of the season. And we've got Switchback in 3rd place, who will fall to 4th at the moment as it stands behind Radicon. But we'll find out at the end of this one. Ben McEwen will be in 5th place. Gamer James continuing to close in on him in 6th. But a brilliant, brilliant result there for Pure G Jackson. So Marcus 22 crossing the line in 2nd place. Switchback 37. Can he open up that 12-second margin on Radicon? It's going to be very, very close. He needs a good last few corners to pull out that gap. Switchback 37 crosses over the line. We'll just wait for Radicon now. I think Radicon's just going to just about get in front of him. And Radicon does. So Radicon takes the final podium spot by less than 0.6 of a second over Switchback. That's crucial for the championship. Ben McEwen over the line in 5th place. Gamer James 06 behind him in 6th. Denmark will cross the line in 7th. But what a result there for Kyoji Jackson. He didn't put a foot wrong, really. He was able to keep his calm, and he won by nearly 45 seconds over Marcus 22. That's how dominant he was in this race, even in intermediate conditions. A brilliant, brilliant drive from Jackson. Excellent job. Marcus 22, good event tonight. Very, very good indeed. And with Radicon finishing 2 places in higher than Ben McEwen in 3rd, that closes the gap down in the championship massively, really. The gap is now down to 2 points between those two, but Ben McEwen is still the championship leader. Gamer James 06 losing further ground in the title race though. So the final classification of the Singapore Grand Prix. Kyoji Jackson wins by nearly 45 seconds over Marcus 22 in 2nd place. It's Radicon in 3rd, Switchback in 4th ahead of Ben McEwen, Gamer James 06 in 6th in Denmark in 7th, followed by Soapblue, Sarli and Bishop's Finger rounding out the top 10. The fastest lap point also went to Kyoji Jackson. Tsimpi and Egremuga were the last of the finishers. B Natinata, Tilwick, Quasinada, Ray 46 and Monkey Mafia did not finish the race. So in regards to the championship, the gap is now down to 2 points between Ben McEwen and Radicon, but it's Ben McEwen who is still in command of the championship as the championship leader. Then it's Gamer James 06 who has lost ground on Ben McEwen by another couple of points, so he's 15 points behind him. Switchback 37 has closed in on Ben McEwen by another 2 points. So that's the gap down to 23 points between him and Ben McEwen. So the top 4 separated by 23 points going into the next race in Brazil, which is the next location for the 8th round of the America F1 Series. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the America F1 Series returns.